It's one of those shoes, you look at it and you think there's not much there, there's not much to talk about. It's your standard kind of triple white, maybe the odd little hit of branding on there. No, no, and double no, because this guy is actually very hot and there's a bunch of details in there. The heel branding, the insole, the tongue branding. There's even in the upper a second layer of upper going on there. It looks like a triple white, but there's actually 3 colours in this shoe. It's a shoe that's packed full of stuff and you can't really see it at first glance. So what I'm going to do for you today is take you deeper on that and go through all the details that make this a fire sneaker, the upcoming release of the Nike Air Force 1 1-800 toll-free. This is the Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel des. Mainichi Yapsuno de, Mainichi Michi Kudasai. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And this channel's always growing, always developing, always evolving. And these days I had a little blip where my computer got taken away from me and I had to sort of work things for a week or so and try and make it happen. And I managed to sort of jerry-rig the channel, for want of a better word, for about 8 days. And then we're back to where we need to be, back on my computer and back on Filmora, my preferred editing software. But because of that, things have changed a little bit, and I sort of looked at the channel, looked at the way I do videos and things, and I've changed it and shifted it up a bit. For example, straight into the shoe without any fuss and any bothering around, and we'll keep any extra little bits about me and my life, my personal details, for the end of the video. So without further ado, let's get into this and look at the upcoming release of the Nike Air Force 1 1-800 toll-free. Now the first thing is a question for you, because I haven't been able to find out why they made the shoe. Usually a shoe like this would have some kind of collaboration with it or some kind of story. If you think, for example, Black History Month, or a collaboration with, say, Clot, for example. Clot's actually a really good example, because Clot are really good at putting a second layer onto their shoes. Now, either that's by making it detailed on the upper, or by stripping away the first layer of the upper and revealing a second below. And today the shoe is very much like that first sort of style. It's a double layered upper that we're looking at. So usually it'd be like a collaboration or something like that, or something to celebrate a particular time of the year or season or event or something along those lines. And I'm just not seeing it with these guys. I don't know why the 1-800 toll-free is the motif of this shoe. Is it to do with some event in the US, or is it to do with a brand that's tying it up with the Air Force 1? If you know that, let me and everybody else know in the comments down below, because I would very, very much like to know. But knowing that's not really important. All we're going to do today is we're going to go through all the details on the shoe, and I'll point out every one of the ones that make this a very unique Air Force 1, which is hard to do. It's hard to make a unique Air Force 1, because the Air Force 1s have been trucking along for 38 years and they haven't changed the silhouette really at all, but still they're able to come out with unique looking shoes and unique looking colorways, and today definitely falls into that. So I'm going to take you through it bit by bit, piece by piece. I'm going to leave that in. I probably should edit it out, but I'm not going to. Piece by piece, I'm going to leave it all in there and go through the shoe and take you through all those details that I think are important, that make up the whole fabric of this shoe, this 1-800 toll-free. First things first, let's look at the lateral side. I think I said it at the start of this video about how it looks like it's a triple white sneaker, but actually there are 3 different colors going on in there. So you do have that white base to the shoe, especially along most of the upper, and it's that white base that you'll see later has a second white piece of branding in it. But there are 2 other colors at play here. One is the light grays and the other is the sail. So we'll zoom in on the swoosh to give you an idea of what I'm talking about with the light grays, and it's important to note that, because when we get to the heel branding later, you'll see something special in that light gray on white motif. So color number 2 is the light grays on there, which come in the swoosh along the side of the shoe. And then if you drop it down a little bit from that and have a look at the midsole, you can see it's a midsole in sail rather than being in white. And then on the outsole side of things, it's all in white. Now I would have preferred a white midsole, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure why they went with sail. There must be a reason. Must be they don't just randomly close their eyes and pick, oh, this midsole will do. They actually have purpose and reason when they make these choices, and I'm not sure what they were going after on that. But their shoe, their choice, as the saying goes. So what looks like a triple white sneaker is actually 3 different colors. White is the base, but there's gray and sail in there as well. And now to get into some of the details of the shoe, I'm going to zoom in. There's 2 places I want to do this. So first I'll show you what I'm talking about. Then we'll go over and have a look at the second shoe that's in this pack, because it's actually a pack. It's not just a single shoe. And then we'll come back and talk about the detailing a bit more. So first things first, let's zoom in on the heel. And I think I'm right in saying you can see the word today in that white on white kind of upper that I was talking about, how there's that second layer to the upper. It's not just a white upper, there's a second sort of layer to it. It's today back there, and I think that's part of the words call today, and they might have run out of space to fit that on this particular part of the shoe, and that's why it just says today. And then if we travel forward from that, I'll have another shot, which is the toe box, and you can see some stars on the toe box there, and again that motif, that toll free, that 1-800 call today motif going on there. So when I talked earlier about the two layered upper, that's what I was talking about. And then another question, we already had the question about whether or not this is a collaboration or celebrating a certain event, and then question number 2 is all about this right here. Doing. That is the second shoe in this pack, which is an Air Force One high in black, and the black on black motif, just like on these ones, the white on white motif is there, but when you shine a light on it, you get this 3M branding popping out of the shoe, and I haven't been able to find any pictures that show the white version with that 3M pop when you shine a light on it in the dark, so I do not know if the reflective element that's there on the highs, the black highs, is there on these white lows. If you do know, again, let us know in the comments down below. But very cool that this is part of a pack, very cool that you've got that second layer in the upper there and a second piece of detailing on the shoe. Now we're going to travel from that up the tongue to the top of the tongue, which is one of the places where there's that distinctive branding. Usually at the top of an Air Force One tongue you'd have Nike branding up there, and you still do have the words Air Force One underneath the branding, but what you've got is an oval sort of panel on the top there with the 1-800 to signify a toll-free number, which is very unique as far as Air Force Ones go. And then if we went down from the tongue to the doubrays at the bottom, I think this is something they've overdone a little bit, because what you're looking at there is what looks like the digits that you would dial on an American pay phone, and they say AF1 or Air Force One for the signature of the shoe, and there's three of them, 3 squares for that AF1, the Air Force One. But I think it's a bit too big. I think they could have shaved them down and had them a bit flatter. They're a little too fat. There's a little bit too much three-dimensional going on in there. And I think if they had made these a bit thinner, but kept everything else about the motif on them, it would have been very cool. But I think the height of them is just a little bit too big. It just takes away from what they were trying to do with it being the sort of press buttons that you get on a payphone. So, but it's still very cool. Very unique, and when the Air Force One play around with their doubrays, it really makes a difference to the shoe, and then sort of brings up, it was what was it now? It was the white metallic gold that really went with something new on the doubrays, because he made a completely different shape and even put it in a different place on the shoe, so definitely worth checking out those white metallic golds. And then back up to the top of the shoe, before we dip to the back end, we're going to have a look on the insole, and you can see again that 1-800 call free, toll free, call today, all that kind of branding going on in the insole in black and white to match the toe, not the toe, the tongue branding on there. And then if we flip it all the way around to the back of the shoe, like I said earlier, when that grey that we were talking about in the swoosh, it comes into play on the heel branding here, because you can see in that sort of oblong panel there, the grey branding that says 1-800 in a white kind of oblong on a grey background. So it's that grey motif again brought through from the swooshes, repeated on the heel of this shoe to give you that emphasis that it isn't just a triple white, it's grey and white, and also that sail down on the midsole of the shoe. Now I think that's everything about the shoe that I wanted to get into, all the little details and stuff. And like I said, you know, if this is your kind of shoe, definitely go in there and get your hands on it. Tell us in the comments down below if you know more about it, because it seems like a shoe that would have more of a story. I've walked you through the physical details of it, the different parts of the shoe that are easily identifiable and easily talked about, but there must be a story to it, a reason why they chose to make this story, this narrative in the shoe. So if you know what that is, definitely let us know in the comments down below. And like I was saying earlier, you know, the channel's had a bit of a sort of rough time lately getting over my computer packing it in, but a genius friend of mine was able to restore my computer, not just to where it was, but actually to a better level, faster, and working at more efficient speeds. So very happy to have my computer back. Very happy to be working on Filmora again instead of iMovie, so things at the channel are coming back together nicely as we move towards the 2-year anniversary of daily content. We're already past the 2-year anniversary of the channel itself, but the daily content, man, 2 consecutive years non-stop, not a single day missed, not even one day missed of consecutive content. I'll be glad to get to that milestone and then keep on keeping on. For now though, it's time to truck off. Thank you guys for checking out the content, and I do truly appreciate it. And then it's, you know, at the end of every video I say the same thing, and I hope it has some kind of impact on you guys out there, because I do this every single day, even on the weekends, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.